Good morning. Another beautiful day in God's kingdom. Today we look at the story of a gentleman called Naaman. Naaman was a commander of the Syrian army. He was highly regarded, a very well-known figure, but he had a problem. He had a debilitating disease that, as far as were aware, had no cure, and that was the disease of leprosy. But then begins a series of events, that shows you the power of connections. He had in his house, a slave girl that had been taken captive and was working with his wife. She was his wife's maid servant. And she goes to her mistress and says to her mistress, "Oh, if only my master could get himself to Israel, he will be cured because I know there is a prophet in there that could cure him." And so the mistress hears this good news and says, "Wow." She goes off to her husband, tells her husband the news, and the husband is so relieved. He goes straight to the king because he has a good relationship with the king. He goes to the king and tells the king of Syria. And in 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 5, the king of Syria says to him, "Go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel." So he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 changes of clothing. And ultimately, we find that he gets to meet the prophet, and the prophet, goes about and tells him what to do, and he finds that he is cured of the disease. So, what do we see? The power of connection. The slave girl had a good relationship with the mistress, tells the mistress goes straight to her husband, tells her husband because she has a good relationship with him. The husband goes straight to the king because he has a good relationship with his king, and the king sends him to the king of Israel. Ultimately, they get to the prophet, who has the most powerful connection of all. The prophet is connected to God, and by calling on the name of God, Naaman finds himself healed. Who are you connected to? Who do you know? God bless you. Have a beautiful day.